So today we're going to talk about three question types. The three question types are role, reasoning, and paradox questions. Role and reasoning, I think we're actually going to wrap those together into one type and just call them reasoning to try to minimize the number of types you have to think about, but they're functionally the same on a lot of levels. I mean, there is a difference. There's a reason they've been separated for many years, but in a role question, the logical reasoning, prompt will ask you which one of the the claim in the passage that cats are annoying plays which one of the following roles in the argument. So basically what they're doing is they're identifying a particular claim in the argument, right? You have the passage, and then you have the question. And the question is, it's identifying a particular claim. They usually quote the claim. They just quote it. And they're like, hey, what role does it play? And a role is either a premise, a conclusion, an intermediate conclusion, an opinion of others, or a concession. Now, they could use this language, but usually what ends up happening is you say, okay, that sentence right there or that clause right there is a premise in this argument, and then you go into the answer choices and you look for something that basically describes a premise. Okay? That's role questions. Reasoning questions ask you to describe what kind of reasoning the author used to get from her premises to her conclusion. Reasoning questions, like role questions, are describing what's happening here. So one easy way to go through the answer choices is to ask yourself, does this describe exactly what's happening? If there's any sort of inaccuracy, like, answer choice A refers to the conclusion as a generalization, and it's not a generalization, it's about a specific person, then immediately you can stop reading it, because the correct answer in a role and a reasoning question has to describe everything perfectly. It doesn't have to be complete. The LSAT's number one sin is inaccuracy, not incompleteness. So the correct answer may not touch on everything that's happening in the passage, but nothing in that answer choice will be inaccurate. Okay, so I just asked myself, does this describe what's happening? Can I see the different elements of that answer choice playing out in the passage at some point? The answers tend to be sort of abstract, right? They say things like, it is a claim that is used to support a generalization offered earlier in the argument. And you're like, okay, can I find that generalization? Did it happen earlier in the argument? Is this exactly what happened here? And if it's not, then it's wrong. Okay? And that's the same for role and reasoning. They're basically just asking you to describe what's happening. Okay. Any questions about role or reasoning questions? Reasoning questions are the ones that say the argument proceeds by. In other words, they just want you to describe how the argument was reasoned. How did the author, what kind of evidence did the author use to prove her conclusion? Okay? The other question type that we're going to talk about tonight are paradox questions. Paradox questions usually give you two facts, and there's something that seems incompatible about those facts. And so you can almost anticipate that it's going to be a paradox question before you even read the question. It's like you read the passage and they're like, Joey really hates math class, but he attends it more than all of his other classes. and you're like, wait, okay, you just gave me two facts. Fact one, fact two. Fact one is Joey really hates math class. And fact two is that Joey attends it more than all of his other classes. It's like, huh? That doesn't, or more frequently than his other classes. It doesn't make sense. I mean, sure, it can be explained, but there's a paradox there, right? It's not an argument. You're looking for an answer choice that if it were true. So which answer, if it were true, would do the most to help explain the paradox above? In this case, you guys have any guesses as to what could explain or reconcile these two facts? Joey hates math. Hates math, but he attends it more than his other classes.
He's required to.
Okay, so he's required to, and maybe not required to attend his other classes, right? That could help explain it.
He needs extra help with the class, so he attends more of it.
Okay, he needs more help with it, right, than he does with his other classes. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if I said this exactly right. You know, the LSAT's very particular about what it says. But I think I said that he hates math. But one thing that could be true is that although he hates math, he may hate his other classes even more, right? So that's another like twist on this. Sometimes we're assuming that we've read the facts and we understand them, but we're actually imposing our own thoughts on it, right? Like, yeah, he hates math, but he likes it better than all his other classes, and that could be why he attends it more. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of potential explanations, but the bottom line is that the correct answer is likely to be a stronger answer because it's saying which one of the following, if true, most helps to explain. So you just have to assume that all 5 answer choices are true. Which one, if it were true, would help you reconcile the two? It can help to ask yourself, why one fact even though the other fact. So here I'd say, why does Joey or whoever, I don't remember who, why does Joey attend his math class more than his other classes even though he hates it? What this question does is it forces you to think about both facts, because a lot of the tempting wrong answers will strengthen one fact or another, but they won't reconcile or help you see how the two are interrelated. Cool. Alrighty. Well, any questions about any of that? Okay.